Hey guys, welcome back to Vibes with Fred, real enjoyable dining, and it's about taking the food we love from out there and bringing it back home in here. It's been a couple weeks since I posted, so today I have two videos that I will be posting for you guys. It's my jerk chicken, so my Jamaican style jerk chicken and rice and peas, and I'm gonna also show you guys how to make Alfredo pasta with Cajun chicken and asparagus. You can swap it out for shrimp for all my seafood lovers. So without further ado, as my mother always says, let's get cooking, sister. So this is gonna be a three-part video. We're gonna start with making our jerk marinade from scratch. I'm throwing in my onions. I have about 1.5 yellow onions, 3 Scotch, well 4 to 5 actually, Scotch bonnets. You can put a little less if you don't want it to be as spicy. It's definitely up to you. Make sure you wash and clean and add your scallions. It's about 4 branches of scallions, and of course my cleaned thyme, and we're gonna end it with some fresh ginger. I used a lot more than I was expecting to. If you're not a big fan of ginger like me, you can definitely add less. This amount actually worked out pretty good. Everyone loved it. So let's go ahead and get that in our blender. Now let's move on to adding 1 tablespoon of whole cloves. And from that we will add about 2 tablespoons of brownie, which will give it that nice rich color. Okay, so here's the first one. And here is our second one. Then we're gonna move on to adding some allspice. Can't have jerk marinade without allspice. So I'm gonna do about, I know I put 2 fingers up, but I think I'm gonna do about 1.5 tablespoons of allspice. And of course we need our cinnamon straight from Grenada. Shout out to all my Grenadians. And I have about 1 tablespoon of cinnamon in our mixture. Looking good. Following our cinnamon, we're gonna go ahead and do 1 tablespoon of ground nutmeg. Gives it a nice earthy flavor. And about 2 tablespoons of salt. I'm using pink salt. Use whatever salt you have in your cupboard. And for a little bit of acidity, I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Oh, I lied. I did 2.5. Sorry. And let's go ahead and get that lid on and let's get it blended. You guys get the concept. I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit, but we are gonna add some liquid to our mixture just to get a little more liquidy. So I'm adding about 1/2 cup of water. I'm gonna finish getting this all nice and blended and put it aside, and let's get our chicken ready. So I'm using kosher chicken. Shout out to all my Jews. You can definitely use whatever chicken you want. I'm using quarter legs. I got that nice and cleaned, and now I'm just gonna squeeze some fresh oranges on there. Gives it nice flavor and acidity. So we're gonna go ahead now and grab the marinade that we had and pour that all over the chicken, so we can get it all into every piece of chicken in that bowl. I do also want to remind you to definitely not use all of it. Put some aside, because after we get the chicken nicely coated and marinated, we're going to place it in the fridge, and we're going to take the rest of our marinade to make the jerk sauce. This is the sauce that we're going to use to drizzle on our jerk chicken once it's done. So we're going to start with about a cup of ketchup, our marinade, so jerk marinade that we made. Put all of it in if you want. I'm gonna do about 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Okay, let's get that in our saucepan. I'm going to do a tablespoon of liquid smoke. I am using applewood. Use whatever you prefer. There's hickory. I'm also gonna use guava jelly, and that's about 1 tablespoon, a real tablespoon. And this just added a natural additional sweetness. We're gonna move on with adding chicken stock. 8 ounces. I'm using unsalted. I just like to be in control of my salt intake, but you can definitely add salted if you prefer. And you're gonna add that. That's gonna be the liquid base of this. And we are going to add 1/2 lime and bring this up to a simmer. Definitely taste as you go. It's amazing. And now let's get on to the chicken that we had marinating overnight. You can definitely do it for at least 6 hours. And if you don't have a grill, sear it on a stovetop and throw it in the oven. So my chicken's on the grill. I'm gonna go ahead and let that cook and continue to check it. And of course, I'm too lazy to grab my water bottles, but I am moisturizing it with water as it cooks. And we just wanted to get this beautiful color. I'm gonna go ahead and close my lid and let this finish cooking, and let's go get started with the rice. I got fresh coconut here, guys. Took it back to the islands, no coconut milk in the can. We're gonna go ahead and chuck our coconut and get it into the blender. I'm using about 3. I just cut them up into pieces, got them into my blender. I'm gonna add about half a cup of water so it's easily blended. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this blended down, or as much as possible. And this is what we're going to use to make our coconut milk for the rice. As you can see, my son says it looks like ice cream. So once we get everything in the bowl, I went ahead, my beans that I had already prepared and boiled, I took some of that water and poured it into my coconut mixture. And I took the rest and poured it into a pot, because this is what we are going to cook. So get that into your pot, and then we're going to head back to the coconut, and we are just going to squeeze as much as we can just to get that juice out of it. We want all that goodness, because that's what we're going to put into our rice. So then you're going to take that and you are going to strain it over your pot of beans. And all of that milk is what you want to get into the pot. Now, if some of these flakes fall in there, it's completely fine. You're not going to die. It actually, it adds great flavor. So go ahead and squeeze and get all that juice out of the coconut flakes. And we're going to repeat this process at least 2 times. So I'm going to go ahead, take that coconut, put it back in my bowl, add some water to it, and I'm going to just mix it up and squeeze all the milk out and get as much as I can. And then we're going to repeat this process again. So let's go ahead and fast forward it and get this done. So now that we're done with that, we're going to let that boil on high, and we're going to go ahead and add our allspice. I have about, I don't know, 8 pieces of the allspice, and I'm just going to put it in a napkin and just crack it up just a little bit, and I'm going to throw that into my pot. And then we're going to go ahead and move on with our other veggies. I have some scallion, one Scotch bonnet, and some thyme. I'm just getting some of the juice of the scallions ready, and we're going to take that and we're going to throw that tied bush of thyme in there along with the tied up scallions and Scotch bonnet. Then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon, or actually 1 teaspoon of pure cane sugar and 1 to 2 tablespoons of butter. Now I'm going to grab a piece of ginger and just mash it a little bit and toss that into the pot. It has boiled, I would say, about good 10-15 minutes. Go ahead and remove your thyme, and let's get our rice washed up and ready to get put in the pot. I'm using about 5 cups of rice, and I'm going to incorporate all of that into the pot and stir and cover that up. I will check it periodically, and just, again, a little bit of stirring. We want that liquid to dry out just a little bit before we lower the heat. And don't forget to add some salt, guys. I almost did. So I'm adding about maybe a tablespoon, half a tablespoon of salt. Just, again, do a little bit of mixing. Taste as you go. And once the rice, the liquid starts to look like this, then you can cover it and bring your heat down. And this is about, after, I would say, about 15 minutes. I'm just checking the rice. We are going to fluff it and just make sure we get the rice from the bottom on the top so that everything is properly cooked. And after we fluff it, we are going to cover it up again. Back home in a lot of the islands, they tend to use plastic bags. I didn't want to use it because of the chemicals. I tried to use saran wrap. That didn't work. If you want to do it, wash your plastic bag and cover it up. It's supposed to help it cook better. I'm going to just cover it up. Let this cook on low for 15 minutes and let's plate. Here you have it, my Vibers. This is our rice and peas with jerk chicken and gravy with cream soda. If you like, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and drop me a comment below. Enjoy, guys.